So this is literally my number one requested topic on this channel. It's the cost of living. So this week I'm going to bring you a breakdown of what things generally cost so that you can get an idea of what sort of salary you need monthly here as an expat on the island of Mauritius. Of course, it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it. Everyone has different lifestyles. Everyone has different salaries and needs and wants. So therefore, of course, do take this with a pinch of salt. Some of you might find it ludicrously expensive. Others might find it dirt cheap here. It really all depends on what you're earning. Before I begin, in order to get a little bit of perspective here, the minimum wage is now 16,500 rupees, and the average salary now on the island is 46,333 rupees. So as you can see, salaries are quite low. So first one I'm going to start with is probably the biggest amount of money that you're going to have to spend each month, and that is housing. Now you could stay in a small apartment or you could stay in a villa. Of course, it's your own preference and it goes according to your budget. The main areas where expats live on the island are going to be the north and the west, even maybe a bit southwest. Those are the two most popular areas. So that would be somewhere like Grand Bay or Tamarin on the west coast. Now, of course, you could live in other places. You could go and live in Port Louis or Bamboo or Catrabon or on the east. It's totally up to you. Just know that Grand Bay and Tamarin, those are going to be pretty much your main expat areas. And with that also comes a price tag. If you're a family of 4 and you're looking for an apartment or a house, something that has a swimming pool and a garden, there is very little chance these days that you're going to get anything for less than 55,000 rupees a month. I'd say, to be more realistic, you're certainly looking at around 75,000 rupees and upwards. If you're wanting to stay on the beach or in a really nice area, it's around 100,000 right the way up to 150,000 rupees a month if you're on the beach. I've actually seen some places even advertised for 230,000 rupees. So again, it all depends on your budget and what it is you're actually looking for. Normally a villa with a pool and a garden is going to come with a gardener and a pool maintenance company, so that will be included in the rent. But say for example you wanted a cleaner, average wage is going to be around 200 rupees an hour. If that person is full-time, that would be, as I say, 16,500 rupees a month. Now before I carry on, this week we've got a very, very welcome addition, and that is Sealy has sponsored this video. I'm sure you heard of them. They're ranked America's #1 mattress brand. Even after 140 years, they're giving you the quality you need for a great night's sleep. All Sealy mattresses are engineered to exceed industry testing standards to ensure they stand the test of time. It's their next level support and all over comfort backed by quality you can trust. They have partnered with orthopedic specialists to create the targeted support and whole body comfort you need. Sealy delivers comfort and quality for every budget. So Sealy, a fantastic brand, one that I can highly recommend if you really want a good night's sleep. Do check them out. Food is another massive expense. We all know that worldwide the prices have really shot up, and I find Mauritius to be particularly expensive, and it's often very difficult to get nice fruit and veg. I've had a lot of people even tell me that somewhere like Australia and the UK is actually cheaper for food than here. So yeah, monthly budget, I'm gonna say you need at least 50,000 rupees. Lower limit, maybe 10,000 rupees a week for a family, but really if you're going to be eating meat, nice fruit and veg, the odd bit of chocolate and maybe an alcoholic beverage every now and then, it is going to cost you quite a lot. If you go to a restaurant, a meal for 4 at an Italian is going to cost you about 4,000 rupees. I'm going to talk about McDonald's because it's easy to compare this worldwide, all the different costs. So if you went and had a McSaver meal, that's going to cost you 125 rupees. So yeah, food, naturally a pretty expensive budget for that. The next one is utilities, and I'm going to start off with electricity. This I've seen really shoot through the roof. We seem to have some exorbitant bills, especially in summer. You're running aircon at night, you really can't sleep without it. And we use solar panels to heat our water, but still I reckon in the summer months you're looking at around 10,000 rupees a month at least. Winter you can expect to pay about half of that. Now we use gas to cook, we use big blue plastic bottles, and those, it's about 240 rupees to refill, so that's not too bad, and those last for about 4 months. And then water, that's pretty cheap here. You're looking at least sort of 500 rupees a month for that. Moving on now to phone and internet, and I'd say you need about 900 rupees for mobile phone data a month. So there are two main internet providers here. You've got MTEL and MIT. If you go with MIT, they have a 2,000 rupee a month bundle, and that's for an internet package or an internet line of 200 megabits a second. If you wanted to have like cable TV, so you've got DSTV Stream, which you'd have to pay for, they have packages which range from about 390 rupees up to, what was the amount? 2,500 rupees. And then you could have Canal Plus as well, that's 500 rupees. You'd have to check out all the different packages available there too. Then if you want something like Netflix as well, that's going to cost you 300 rupees a month. The next one is transportation, and as an expat you're pretty much more likely to either rent or buy a car, and I'm just going to give you two examples of cars. So something like a Ford Ranger 4x4, very popular here, that's going to cost you 1.5 million rupees. Then a smaller car, another very popular one would be a Suzuki Swift, and that's around 890,000 rupees. My experience here is I've found that second-hand cars pretty much seem to be very similar prices to new cars, and the mileage is through the roof. So if you can afford it, go for a brand new car. When you buy a car here, you're going to have to pay for insurance and road tax. I have actually done a video on that. I will leave a link in the description below or a card up above. So road tax on a car, a small car, is around 8,000 rupees a year, and then your insurance is going to be around 30,000 rupees a year. And then petrol now is 66 rupees and 20 cents per litre. So if I fill up my little car, it's going to be around 2,648 rupees to fill up. Okay, so that just gives you an idea. There is a bus option here, so you can take the bus, and that will roughly cost you around about 35 rupees one way. Of course, it's dependent on where you're going and your distance as well. A taxi to the airport is going to cost you around about 1,500 to 2,000 rupees, and of course that's dependent on where you are on the island.
There is of course also the Mauritius Metro Express. For one adult to travel from Phoenix Mall to Port Louis Victoria Station, that's going to cost you 47 rupees. If you're a frequent traveller, you can also buy the ME card, and that'll cost you 150 rupees for an adult, and then you can just recharge that.
The next big expenditure if you're living here, of course, is going to be education. So if you have 2 kids, I would say on average it's going to cost you around 20,000 a month per kid. So let's say around 40 to 45,000 rupees a month. And of course this depends where your kids go to school and also their age, because the older they are, the more expensive it gets. So I touched briefly on car insurance. Now let's talk about health insurance, because this is very important. If you're an expat living here, I absolutely highly recommend that you do get international cover. Although hospitals are relatively good here and healthcare is relatively good here, if anything major goes wrong, you are more than likely going to need to get off the island and go elsewhere for treatment. So it's very important that you make sure that you have a good healthcare, and of course that comes with a price tag. Now, according to the research that I've done, I have found that most people here tend to like to use Swan, Mauritius Union and also Discovery. Now of course there are many others, something like William Russell or Bupa or Cigna or Allianz. You know, the list is long. You can just do a quick Google and you can find many. But I would say for a family you're looking at around 8,000 rupees a month. Of course these prices can vary hugely. It all depends on what you want covered and all the knobs and whistles that you want. If you go here now to the GP, that's going to cost you 1,400 rupees for a consultation. The dentist is around 1,500 rupees. And if you go to an orthodontist and your child has braces, you're in for around 110 to 150,000 rupees for the entire treatment. Now for household insurance, and of course this depends really on whether you're renting or whether you've bought a house. In fact, I think I've always pretty much had household insurance even when I was renting. And again, those same companies that I just mentioned, like Swan and MUA, they will also cover you for household contents. And I would say for a general household insurance, it's going to cost you around 3,500 rupees a month. Okay, so this next little topic or subtopic category I'm going to call entertainment and recreation. And this is your non-essential stuff, but all the bits and pieces that just enrich your life. Like for example, going to the gym. So if you wanted a gym membership, there are a couple of quite well-known gyms here now, RM and FitLife. So if you wanted a family membership, that's going to cost you around 4,350 at FitLife. And then really big now in Mauritius is Paddle. So if you wanted a membership at somewhere like Urban, that's going to cost you 4,500 rupees for the family. If you go to a cafe and you have a cappuccino, that's around 90 rupees. And then a beer like a Phoenix, which is the local draft beer here, you can have a 33 centiliter glass, and that's going to cost you 125 rupees. So that's it from me. I hope this guide has been useful for you. If it has, do give me a thumbs up, comment, and of course, if you haven't already, do subscribe. And yeah, also always appreciate it if you buy me a coffee. If you feel like you would like to live on this beautiful paradise island, do email me and I will pass on your details to my relocation specialist with whom I am now partnered. Anyway, that is it from me. I'm getting out of this very, very hot office and I will check ya on the next one. See ya.